Topic of this video is, can Israel survive a second Obama term? Well, I think when you get through with this, you'll hope there is no second Obama term, and it will have nothing to do with Israel. It will have largely to do with the dismal state of the American economy, the abominable foreign policy positions that we've now undertaken. But for those who are concerned with the security of Israel, you certainly have much to be worried about. Remember, what I'm about to tell you occurred during his first term, when he is worried about reelection. Just imagine if he now doesn't have to worry about reelection and he's unfettered of the horrible things he'll do to the state of Israel. Now, the thing is, he says he's for the security of Israel, and for most people who don't pay attention to any details, that's enough. They hear that he's for Israel, and that's all they care about. When you actually look at the policies and what he's done, it's a nightmare. As most of the Republican candidates have recently said for president, he threw Israel under the bus. He ambushed Netanyahu just recently, a few weeks ago, when he was trying to force Israel, without even consulting the prime minister, back to lines that are completely indefensible, and ambushed him in a meeting. Of course, Netanyahu was firm and spoke strongly to Congress, which supports him and not the president. But it goes way beyond that. First of all, he's been more Palestinian than the Palestinians. He's the one who forced Israel to a settlement freeze with the huge stick of the United States pressure. And not only the settlement area of the West Bank and Judea, which do not belong to anybody, but even Jerusalem and parts of Jerusalem which are indisputable. And then he completely tore up the letter that President Bush signed. We're like some tin-horn banana republic when one president makes a statement to Israel in a formal letter that says that it's clear the United States recognizes there are certain settlement blocks and parts of Jerusalem that will always remain in Israeli hands. And suddenly Obama throws it out the window like it never occurred. And then he talks about land swaps. Well, the land swaps he's talking about are in the integral state of Israel, in the part of Israel which no one disputes. So now that's even disputable. So there's no more sovereignty claims left, according to the President of the United States. He's forcing Israel to make all these concessions before they even enter negotiations, and it's clear the Palestinians are not even going to negotiate. I mean, Obama forced Israel to this 10-month settlement freeze, and the Palestinians never came back to the table. But does he make any pressures and demands on the Palestinians to give up teaching the kindergartners to hate Israel, to stop inciting violence, to recognize all? Netanyahu says to the administration of the Palestinians, just say you believe there is a Jewish state. They won't say that. Netanyahu said he accepts the idea of a Palestinian state. And then the most serious issue is Iran. Obama claims that he's like for sanctions and doing stuff, but under his watch, Iran just gets closer and closer and closer to developing nuclear bombs. And the ballistic missiles that they have now have been built specifically to hold nuclear payloads. So this idea that Iran's just going to have peaceful nuclear material is ridiculous. And Obama's just going to let it happen. Going to let Iran get nuclear bombs without stopping it, and they've made it clear they want to destroy Israel. And that will be on his shoulders, and he doesn't seem to care at all. Where you have this whole development of the Arab Spring and all these uprisings. Look what's happening in Syria. So how come the United States is treating Syria in such a timid way, but Israel, they put the full pressure and force of the United States on? And even this issue of veto power in the United Nations, where the United States has always been the fail-safe for Israel in the United Nations Security Council, despite overwhelming majorities of Arab countries and Muslim countries and countries that hate Israel, the United States has always had a guarantee veto. But now suddenly the veto, which has still been used, is now a carrot and a stick, where Netanyahu says, Obama says, you do these things, and we may veto the anti-Israel resolution for 1 year. And he's asking Israel to already give up things that Israel was granted in a previous concession. And so this whole idea of Israel being secure with the United States backing in the UN is suddenly up for grabs too. And so we see issue after issue after issue where this president has gone out of his way to antagonize Israel, undermine Israel, hurt Israel, and to jeopardize Israel's very existence by forcing Israel, in his mind, to land swaps and secure lines that will be insecure in terms of inviting wars and terrorism from the surrounding Arab countries and the Palestinians, and not stopping Iran from building nuclear weapons. And this is, again, in his first term. Can you imagine the harm and the danger he's going to do in a second term when he doesn't have to worry about re-election? And so all we can do and pray is that there is no second Obama term, because I think Otherwise, Israel will certainly need more and more and more of our prayers as this president does everything he can to undermine its existence. And you can't have any wonder why. I mean, if you go back and research who his influences were, who his foreign policy advisors were before he became president, and even now, they are very heavily tilted towards radical, anti-Israel, anti-freedom, anti-democratic advisors. So this is a very scary situation. And in terms of the question of can Israel survive a second Obama term, all we got to do is make sure there isn't one.